Okay, this is the P1 paper from October 2024. This is question number 1, and as you can see when we're looking at it, this is the straight line graphs question. We're going to be finding equation of a straight line. We're going to be looking at parallel and perpendicular lines. Let's read it through and see what it says. It says line L1 passes through a point A at minus 520 and B at 3 minus 4. Can we find the equation of L, giving our answer in the form y equals mx plus c? Now, you do not need to draw a graph, but I always, this is going to take me, less than a minute to draw this out here. And if I've got a graph, or rather 2 points, one of them's at minus 520. So A is at the point minus 520. That'd be roughly there. And if that was there, then B being at 3 minus 4, 3 minus 4 would be down there somewhere. So B is 3 minus 4. So the equation of the line that I'm going to draw is going to look something like that. It just gives me an idea, for example, that without doing anything, I know this has got a negative gradient. Without doing anything, I think it's going to have a positive intercept. So it took me 1 minute to do and just helps me understand what I've got to do for this one. But this is very much a straightforward one. I've got 2 points, minus 520 and 3 minus 4. So what I can do is I can first of all find the gradient of AB. So the gradient of AB is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in this case, I'm going to say minus 4 minus 20 over 3 minus minus 5. So that becomes 3 plus 5. That gives me minus 24 over 8, or in other words, minus 3. Yeah, looked like it was going to be a negative gradient, so I'm okay with that. If I now want to find the equation of L1, they called it, the line that's going through points A and B, what I want to do is to say it's y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. That's how I do every one of my straight lines. So if it's going to be like that, I need to choose a point. I could either choose the point 3 minus 4, or I could choose the point minus 520. It doesn't matter. Either of them will give it to you, but I'm going to tell the examiner what I'm doing. So I'm going to say x1, y1, and m. I'm going to decide to have the point 3 minus 4. My gradient is minus 3 here, and so I'm just subbing everything into the equation now. I'm going to get y plus 4 is equal to minus 3 x minus 3, and then just go back. I sort of ignored it for a second there. They want it in this format, so if they want it in this format of y equals mx plus c, all I'm going to do is say that's y plus 4 is minus 3x plus 9, and then take the 4 over. I'm going to get y equals minus 3x plus 5. Again, go back and just have a look at this. Absolutely makes sense, doesn't it, that this point could be 5 here, and certainly this could be a negative gradient. What does part B say? Part B says find an equation for L2 if L2 is the line that's perpendicular to L1. Okay, so perpendicular to L1, this is L1 by the way, L2 is going to be going at 90 degrees to it, and it says, and it also passes through the midpoints. Okay, so that's not quite in the right place. It's going to be here somewhere in the midpoint of A, B. So if I work out this midpoint, I'll need to do that now. M is going to be the midpoint here. I've got it on my axis. It probably won't work out to be exactly on the axis, but we'll work out where that's going to be. And once I've done that, work out M, I need a point on the line, the midpoint, I can work that out. I need the gradient of this line. Well, if I know that this gradient is minus 3, then because they're perpendicular, I'll be able to work out what that gradient is there. I'll show you how to do that in a second, but let's tell the examiner what I'm going to be doing for part B then. So I'm going to say first of all, L2 is, L2 is perpendicular to L1, therefore the gradient is minus 1 over that gradient, which was minus 3. So in other words, it works out to be a third. I need to find out what the midpoint is. So the midpoint, handwriting's awful, the midpoint of AB is x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. So let's put our values in for a and b for that. So that would be minus 5 plus 3 over 2, and then 20 minus 4 over 2. Well, that gives me the point minus 1, 8 as being my midpoint. Yeah, I wasn't far off with it, I had it on the axis, but my graph is not accurate. It's not meant to be accurate. Minus 1, 8 isn't miles away from where it should be. I want to now work out the equation for L2. So the equation for L2, I'm going to do this exactly the same way as I did the equation for L1. I'm going to use y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. And again, over here, I'm just going to tell the examiner, and also make sure I'm not making any silly mistakes as I'm doing this. I can have a quick check of everything. The point, the x1, y1, that was minus 1, 8. I can see that on my screen. And m, just make sure you pick the right one. This is the gradient of the normal. This is the gradient of minus 1 over minus 3. So now just chuck everything in. So if we chuck everything into the equation here, we're going to get y minus 8 equals 1 over 3 x minus minus 1, so x plus 1. Let's just go back really quickly and say that notice made sense for them, didn't it? If they were asking me if one is y equals mx plus c, to have the other one in that format. So here at this stage, easiest thing to do then is to multiply everything by 3. Get 3y minus 24 is equal to x plus 1. I always have these as an x being positive, so I'm going to take everything over to this side of the equation. I'm going to get x minus 3y, 1 plus 24, so 25 is equal to 0. And now I've managed to do part A and part B, both of them in the right form. Hopefully I've got all my 6 marks there, and more importantly, I hope that makes sense to everybody.